Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaoMole and today we are doing something rather different. As you know, I'm normally doing guides for new games coming out, reaction videos and so on and so forth, and hardware is normally not my level of expertise. Now, I'm not a complete noob when it comes to hardware. I would consider myself an enthusiast who knows what's going on in the hardware world, but it's not knee deep into like all the hardware stuff, right? I'm not a YouTube tech channel by any means. I'm just a normal consumer who just likes to stay up to date about what is going on in the hardware world. And you might have noticed just yesterday there was a big AMD event where they were showcasing the new 7000 series, and they were made some bold claims here and there, yada yada yada. But you know what? And this is something Nvidia and AMD and probably Intel will do in the future, and it annoys me to no end. It's this presentation of showcasing what the new GPU can do and giving us numbers with upscaling. Now, if you're not so deep into like all the hardware stuff, what is upscaling? It basically allows the hardware or software, depending on what you are using, to take a picture and then upscale it to, well, bigger resolution. So let's say you are using DLSS, which is the upscaling format Nvidia is using. You can take like a 2p picture or frame and then upscale it to 4K. And the technology itself is amazing. This is not me bashing this technology. It is an amazing feat. It became better and better over the last few years. And we are now at the point where it becomes really difficult sometimes to distinguish the non-upscaled resolution and the upscaled resolution. Like again, it's a tremendous feat, and the technology is just amazing because A, it gives you more frames for the same quality of picture, or allows your older cards to still get okay-ish frames, even though your hardware is not really up to date anymore. Like, upscaling in itself is absolutely amazing. But for the love of everything, Nvidia, Intel, and AMD, stop giving us those numbers instead of showing us what your hardware really can do, because it becomes also really tough for the normal user to understand what they are looking at. Now, to make something clear, this is not new. This whole concept of making their cards look better than they actually are has been going on for decades. Like, I still remember this one key moment on an Nvidia conference when they showcased the 1080 for the very first time. And they were like, look at this. This card can do 4K, 60 FPS. It's amazing. And then they are showcasing Doom 2016 in the background. And I'm like, Doom 2016? Dude, my old Voodoo card can run 2016 Doom in 60 FPS. Like, what is this? This is a highly optimized game which is running on so many systems so well and looks fantastic. It's crazy, right? They have been doing this for years. Let me give you another example which I had to laugh about yesterday, which they showcased on the 7000 showcase, was Hitman 3. Hitman 3 is another example of a completely optimized game on so many levels. So let me explain why. A few weeks ago, unfortunately, my GeForce 2080 Super died. It was unsavable. Thanks to the help of a community member, I got a 3080. But I needed a replacement card in the meantime to at least still do something for content creation and maybe play some video games. And thankfully I still had my old Vega 56 here, a 7-year-old card. And for everyone who doesn't really know what the Vega is, that's about a 1070, give or take. depending on the game, right? So I have a 7-year-old card which has around the performance of a 1070. I played Hitman 3 in the meantime. Ultra settings, everything cranked up besides of ray tracing and at 4040p, and I got an average of 120 FPS. Amazingly optimized game. But if you were showcasing this in your showcase, like, look at how much FPS we are getting in this game, it's like, yeah, whatever. Like, show me what Total War Warhammer 3 can do. That's a game which is murdering GPUs. Like, show me some real references. And I know they will not do that, because that's what they have been doing for years, right? So I don't really expect that, because they want to make their product look good, because they want to sell more of the product. It's a simple thing. I'm not oblivious to that. But the one thing which became more and more normal in the last few years, since we are now using FSR, DLSS, and Intel's XSEE XEE, sorry, Intel, find a better name for that. I'm sorry. Since they're using the upscaling technique, they're giving us a lot of numbers and frames with the upscaling. Like, let me give you an example. They just showcased here, where they showcased, let me see if I can find that very quickly. Yeah, there it is. There it is. They showed Assassin's Creed Valhalla with 96 FPS in 8K. And there are multiple issues with this. First, this is not an 8K. This is 8K widescreen, which is about the pixel count of 6K actually. And they only reach 96 FPS thanks to FSR. So I have absolutely no idea what is thanks to the GPU doing the work, or what is thanks to FSR, aka the software working in the background. Maybe you can even reach those FPS with your 6900, the last generation, if you would use FSR 3.0 at this point. We don't know. That's my point. We do not know which work is coming from the hardware and which work is now coming from the upscaling software. But Mo, why is that a problem, man? Like, you said you really enjoy using this and you use it whenever you can. Right. Right. I'm using it whenever I can and whenever it is available. But that still leaves a problem. Right. That still leaves it with a problem. The problem is that when I decide to buy a hardware, I want to decide this on the hardware and not necessarily on how much more performance the software is giving to me. Because A, you never know if that software will be available in all the games you will play, because the reality is we still have games which are not using upscale, or they are not offering all the upscale varieties. Like, some games are only offering FSR, some games are only offering DLSS. And especially with DLSS, you have the problem that this is an Nvidia proprietary thing, and they're not offering that to AMD cards. On the other hand, FSR also works on Intel and Nvidia cards. So that is the thing. Then you don't know if there will be any problems at some point with it. Maybe it will even disappear at some point because we find something else. Like, my main complaint is here that we are getting numbers thanks to a software which is kind of a gimmick, as amazing as it is. And it becomes harder and harder for the normal consumer to really understand what the value increase is. Right? Like, I mean, look at the 490. Or even, you don't even have to go that far. Look at the 480. The GeForce 480. We already got some numbers here and there. But most of those numbers are thanks to DLSS 3.0. So is the high price Nvidia is asking for the 4080 really justified? Is it really like a crazy hardware increase? Or is this just thanks to DLSS? Which, by the way, is only available, like DLSS 3.0 is only available to the new 4000 series. So they kind of force you to get that. But I will be honest, I just want to see how those cards actually hold up without this whole upscaling trickery. Again, it is an amazing technique, and you might argue, well, if it does give you the same performance, or not the same performance, but the same image quality as the non-upscaled image, why is it a problem if you don't even see the difference? And let's be real here. I'm blind as a mole. Like I always see like some comparison videos where the tech channel is going into details and is going like, yeah, you see that fence in the back of the screen on the still image? You can count the pixels by 2. And I'm just, really? If you wouldn't have pointed it out, I would have never noticed. I'm too blind for that shit. So for me, it's even less than a problem. Right? But it becomes really problematic for making a decision if that hardware is right for you and what you can achieve with it. Like, I already see it when I'm talking sometimes to friends and family, and we talk about like, hey, my GPU got really old, I need a replacement. What should I go for? This is what I want to reach, FPS wise and quality wise. What should I go for? And then I'm starting with, well, if you are using DLSS and FSR, then you should probably go with this card. But if you want to get raw performance, you might want to go with this card. And that is already the point where most normal users are like, I'm out. Sorry, dude. I just wanted to know like which card I'm getting with those performance numbers. And you are now telling me something about upscaling, not upscaling, and so on and so forth. And it's kind of shitty. Again, for me, who is like an enthusiast gamer, who is an enthusiast hardware user, it's annoying, but it's not that problematic, right? But for the standard user, like this is becoming a real issue. Because I don't think it helps to make a reasonable decision of what hardware you should pay for. Especially because cards are becoming more and more expensive. So you can totally give me benchmarks with FSR and without FSR. I'm completely fine with that. But please give me those both numbers and not just show off like the upscaling technique AMD. The same goes for Nvidia or Intel. Like, give me also some raw numbers. Let me definitely know what you think down below in the comments. I would appreciate that. And again, this is not me shitting on upscaling and the upscaling techniques. I think they are fantastic and they are the future, for now at least. but I definitely know what you think. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like. And if you're new to the channel, you want to see more reaction videos, I do a lot of guides for new games. I also do gaming news in my live stream from Monday to Friday, starting at 8 AM ET, which is 1 PM UK time, and 2 PM Central European time here on this YouTube channel. I would appreciate if you might stop by and say hi. With that said, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Stay safe.